Looking for better loads and bigger profits? Right now, you can save 20% off Truck Stop Load Board Pro for 6 months. The best tool for serious carriers. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to get 20% off Load Board Pro for 6 months. Need capital to grow your business or cover unexpected expenses? Rock Financial has your back. Whether you're looking for a flexible line of credit, a fast cash advance, or tailored working capital solutions, Rock Financial makes it simple to get funded, often in as little as 24 hours. No hidden fees, an easy application, and real support from people who know the business. Ready to take your hustle to the next level? Tap the link in the description to get started with Rock Financial today. Wish insurance was this easy? With LogRock, it's like magic. Real coverage appears when you need it. No tricks. Get covered now. Click the link in the description.
Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's going on? What's up? Come on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on all post notifications if you are in need of insurance, commercial insurance that is, for your semi-truck, box truck, cargo van business. There's a link in the description below for LogRock, up for renewal, looking for a cheaper alternative for your commercial insurance needs. Link in the description for LogRock. Make sure you guys click that link. Tell them Big Mark sent you for all your insurance needs. Come on in. Make sure you guys click that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on all post notifications. How's everybody doing this afternoon? Friday, another week down, about 2 weeks to Christmas. Hope everybody's doing well out there. I did a live stream last night. Like I said, I try to hit one late live stream a week for my late night guys, my overnight guys, and it did end up abruptly. Modem updated, and so the modem updated. I didn't realize it. I was still running my mouth, and then when I realized, the stream was saying resume stream, and I just noticed that everything was funny. And then I looked over and I saw the modem light flashing, and then when it came back on, I resumed the stream, but it only let me come back on live Facebook and not YouTube. But I just ended it at no sense of coming back. I pretty much accomplished it. I think I was talking to DDD truckers. I was tired anyway. You probably saw me yawning towards the end. So that probably that modem update was a signal for me to take my ass to bed. And that's what I did. So sorry about that for those people that were watching. I think it was like 40-something people watching about late last night. That's what happened. So all right, let's see what we got here. Let's see who we got in the building. Shout out to Koki. Koki, what's going on? Shout out to Koki in the building. Shout out to Ty. Ty, you wanted me to do the live and you weren't even there last night. See what I'm saying? Shout out to 608. Shout out to Rich. Shout out to all the MGM members. Shout out to SD Walk MGM member. Shout out to Jets Investments. What's going on? Shout out to Legacy Mindset. What's up? Shout out to Kelvin Birch, MGM Gang member. Shout out to Ivan Tony. Shout out to everybody representing the crib. Reg, Ivan.
The Chicago, nigga.
A lot of the city in the building. I see everybody from the city in the building. Shout out to Box Truck Dan. Who else? Shout out to Jig. Shout out to Moving Company Hustle. Shout out to Frank Sinatra, what up? Shout out to Michael Robinson. Shout out to Jabari Victor. Shout out to Sage. Shout out to, who's that? 1B TA boys. What's going on? Shout out to Durag. Shout out to Chucky. What's going on? What's up? Come on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on all post notifications. This is going to be one of them ones. I'm going to try to keep it cool. But we got to talk. We got to talk about this because this shit is just, for the life of me, I just don't understand it. I don't get it, bro. I don't understand it. I really don't. We're going to talk. I'm going to try to keep it cool, but I might derail and I might crash out. If I crash out, then I crash out, right? Who cares, right? If you don't care, why should I? You dig what I'm saying? If you don't care, why should I? So I might crash out. But something came up before we get started. I saw something, and I wanna highlight this because I seen this, and I'm just like, wow, this was amazing. So I want to pull it up. Give me a second here. Should have had it ready. Let me pull this up here. Let's see. I'm not a good, Instagram person, so I don't know how to rewind Instagram. Or can you rewind it? Let me just pull it up on the screen. Let me move this back. Yeah. Y'all seen this on Instagram? Y'all seen this Amazon delivery guy on Instagram hopping around with one leg? Y'all see this? To me, there should be no excuse. This guy's hopping around on one leg, getting the job done. This guy's hopping around on one leg as an Amazon DSP delivery driver, getting the job done. And you got guys out here that's complaining about all the dumbest shit in the world. No touch freight. We want to be a box trucker, but you don't want to touch shit. And you complain about you're broke. You don't want to work a job, but then you're complaining about you're broke. And then I see this. He ain't using a cane. He ain't using a crutch. He getting it done. Listen, this was the worst shit I could have ever seen. I don't want to hear shit. You come up here with some dumb shit, I'm going to cuss your motherfucking ass out. If I hear any soft ass shit from going forward after see this shit, I'm not going to have no remorse for you, bro. I'm serious, especially if you a grown ass man. If you a grown ass man with 2 arms and 2 legs, don't look for some type of remorse or sympathy from me. You're not going to get it. You weren't getting it anyway, but after seeing this, listen, this dude probably doing 100 stops a day like that. If anybody knows this guy, I want to talk to him. If somebody knows him or can find him, I don't know, man. Hopefully he speaks English. I want to talk to this guy. I don't even know if this is even in America. Well, let me see. Yeah, it says private property. The sign says private property in English. And those garbage cans have serial numbers. So, those are similar to like some of the garbage cans we have here. Because all of our trash cans for the city of Chicago have serial numbers on them. So this is probably in the state somewhere. But ain't no excuses, bro. I don't want to hear shit no more, bro. I don't want to hear shit, bro. For real. On the real, though. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notification. Now, I know somebody out there that saw that they ain't like what I just said, but if that's the case, then that tells a lot about you as an individual. Like, I don't want to hear no excuses no more. None. Let's get to it, bro. A lot of owner operators, semi-truck. We see it from semi-trucks and box trucks. Now, we had a semi-truck guy call up the other day. Horrible story. Horrible story. He's probably watching. I don't know, bro. I was going to go in a different direction today, but the spirit led me to talk about this shit. So I'm going to go in the direction of the spirit. The spirit led me to talk about this. So math is what's killing you guys. Math. And hope too. But we're going to say hope for another day. We're going to talk about math. We're going to talk about the uncomfortable shit, right? Right out the gate. Most owner operators are not failing because of low rates. To me, this whole cheap freight thing, like we've had these discussions. Like I've desecrated your favorite people. I've desecrated some of you when it comes to this cheap shit. There's no such thing. All right. It's all math. You're failing because of math. You refuse to sit your ass down and calculate. And it's not because you can't do math. It's because the math threatens your fantasy. A lot of y'all living in fantasy land. We saw that from the discussion we had with the young man yesterday. And I'm not talking about, I told him to his face when he called in, like, dude, you living in La La Land. The math threatens your fantasy. The fantasy that you were sold by, you were sold this fantasy, by somebody or a content creator, but the math is what threatens your fantasy. And once you understand, that the math is necessary, and that if you sit down and do the math, it's going to tell you something that you don't want to hear, you avoid it. It's a psychological defense mechanism. It's a psychological defense mechanism. A lot of you guys know how to do math. You can calculate. I mean, the math is simple, especially for cost per mile. It's simple, addition, division. Cost divided by miles. Simple. Yet you refuse to do it for whatever reason. Gentleman the other day says it's because he doesn't have time. He doesn't have time. You can calculate your phone bill. We know people going to pay their phone bill because you can't go without your phone bill. You can calculate that. You're going to pay your phone bill. You're going to calculate it because you can't go without scrolling on the gram and TikTok. Most of you can calculate your car note, but we see now that a lot of people, whether they can calculate it or not, they can't afford it because they didn't do the math, or they did do the math and they tricked themselves and said, it'll all work itself out. You can calculate your rent, but then we realize from just talking to people that you don't pay rent. Because a lot of these guys is living with a woman who got Section 8. So they don't got to calculate rent. You could calculate your child support, but then again, that's because the state taking it out. So really, you don't got to calculate it. You can calculate your Netflix subscription, and you don't really need that. That's discretionary. You don't really need Netflix, but you can calculate that. When it comes to your business, your box truck business, or your semi-truck business, for some strange reason, you have a problem calculating that. Those are the numbers that matter. I don't understand why, and I say this, and I have to keep saying it over and over again, because people will watch me and then they'll still come up and click the link and they'll say, man, I don't understand where the money is going. And it all leads back to the math. Listen, as long as I do content in this space, I thought CPM and cost per mile and math and cheap freight, I thought this shit would get old, but I've come to realize after 3.5 years, I could make content on this shit for the rest of my life. It'll never get old. People will literally come up on the show, tell me their plans. I'll tell them you're going to fail, and I'm telling you you're going to fail proactively before you get started because I'm doing the math. The numbers don't make sense. And then, like clockwork, and the people that have been watching me for years, they always come back like, damn, you were right. The math didn't work when you brought me the idea. When you started the idea, you didn't do the math and it didn't work then. And then when you come back to me and tell me you're failing, the math is, I told you, it's just, you didn't do the math. The math doesn't, if the numbers don't make sense, it's not going to work. I don't give a fuck how hard you work. We saw that the other day. We see that all the time. I don't give a fuck how hard you work. You can work every day. There's a guy literally appeared the other day that's been working his ass off and literally has blown through over $100,000 in the last 3 months. When you calculate the cash flow plus the earnings, the generated earnings from 2 trucks running consistently for 14 weeks, averaging $8,000 to $10,000 a week. You average 10,000 times 14, that's 140. Plus another 40 on top of that in cash, that's 180. So 140 plus 40 is 180 has come and gone in 14 weeks, and there's nothing. That tells me that these 2 trucks are operating at a loss. Why? The math ain't mathing. Let's stop pretending this is about intelligence. This ain't about intelligence. You know why owner-operators, we can just comfortably say owner-operators. Now, we don't have to decipher semi-trucks versus box trucks. We see it happens in both realms. It's not about intelligence. The reason why owner-operators, and remember I said this. Let me pull you up on the big screen. The reason owner-operators refuse to do the math is because it takes away the hope. Just listen to when people come up here. Listen to the words they use. I pointed it out yesterday with the conversation. The guy yesterday, it was a lot of hope words. Hope, wish, what if. These are all fantasy, wishful thinking words. Wishful thinking is okay, but it's not going to get you to profitability. Math is. You can't hope your way to success. The reason why they don't do their CPM, the reason why they don't do the math is because it removes the hope. And I from whatever reason in today's society, hope is more important than numbers. It doesn't make sense to me. Math doesn't care about how hard you work. And I'm using recent case studies that have come up on the channel for illustration purposes so you can visualize it because it's recent. These are stories that were told this week on the channel, so the illustration should be vivid in your mind. Math doesn't care about how hard you work. The guy literally been working 14 weeks hard and still can't account for where $180,000 has gone. 2 trucks averaging 10,000 collectively, which to me is not good. 2 semi-trucks should be making collectively more gross than $10,000 a week, but collectively they're averaging about 10 grand over the course of the last 14 weeks. That's $140,000 plus $40,000 liquid from cash and loans. $180,000 in 14 weeks unaccounted for. For 2 trucks that have been working very hard. Now tell me if math gives a fuck about how hard you work. It doesn't. Math gives 2 fucks about how hard you work. Doesn't give a fuck about how long you drive. It doesn't give a fuck about how tired you are or even how bad you want it or you want to work. Math asks one question. Math has one question. After expenses, did it make sense? That's the question. That's the one and only question math has for you. After expenses, did it make sense? A lot of you guys can't answer the question, even for your own business. It makes absolutely positively no sense to me whatsoever. Most people don't want to answer the question. Because it exposes their ignorance. Then there's the emotional attachment to gross revenue. I don't give a fuck about. I mean, gross is cool, but it's gross, bro. Even the word gross should let you know, like, yo, this is okay, but this ain't really what really matters. Just the word gross should just automatically just turn you off. Gross. You're addicted to gross. You fall victim to it with your favorite TikTokers and Instagram guys and content creators that put this big number, this big shiny gross number, whether it's factual or it's not. That's what you get attached to. You get addicted to it. And then you run around and say, oh, I did 5,000 this week. The low paid 1,800. I cleared 9,000 last month. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That's what you hear, but you never hear, man, my cost per mile is $2.12. You know why you never hear it? Because most guys don't know what their cost per mile is. You never hear my operating margin is 14%. You know why? Because most guys don't know what their margins are. You never hear my net profit is $185 a day, because if you really knew you were only making $100 a day, you'd fucking vomit in your mouth. And then I said that graphically for a reason. I wanted to be very graphic when I said that. I don't understand it. Like, I just can't understand. Like, I don't put money into shit. Like, my main part, like, if I put some money into shit, like, I got to get my money back. I don't understand why y'all just invest into the shit and you don't want your money back. Like, there's no way you want your money back if you're not doing the math. I don't understand it. I don't understand why gross feels like success. People throw, I made 200,000 this year. Okay, well, how much did you keep? Because I know that the margins are very low. You know what successful to me is? A gross number and a higher profit margin. How have you increased your profit margin? That's a flex. Not a gross number. Gross number just lets me know that you're working. All right, cool. But as we see, there's a lot of people out here working for nothing. In what world do you want to go? So you mean to tell me you left your job because you wanted to get off the plantation? This is what they tell me. I want to get off the plantation because I feel like I could do better for myself, but then you put yourself into a situation where you're doing worse. Makes absolutely no sense to me. It's ridiculous. You don't want to know what the net profit is because then you're going to feel like you're being judged. You look at net profit like a negative thing because that's the truth. Gross makes you feel richer than what you already are. Or that you're not actually. That I made 200,000, it makes you feel like you did something, but you're operating at a loss. So really, you're working for nothing. So when you do your CPM, which is what a lot of people hate to do, you're forced to confront the things that you've been avoiding. How much money you spending on fuel? How much money you're actually spending on insurance? How much money you're actually spending on maintenance, tires, breakdown expenses? And one of the silent killers that people just refuse to admit and adhere to, especially OTR guys, is dead hit. Dead hitting is a cost. Even more of a cost when you're renting a truck. You're renting a truck, you're really paying for those deadhead miles. It's a cost that you guys refuse to calculate. Unpaid time. That's one of the hidden costs of truckers, even giggers. So I was talking to the guy the other day, crazy, and a lot of these giggers. It's a lot of unpaid time that they refuse to account for. A lot of these guys are operating at a loss and they don't really even understand it. That's why it's a hamster wheel and you can never seem to get ahead. You're getting instant liquidity, and as soon as you get it, it's gone. Opportunity cost. You don't calculate it. And suddenly that good load that you thought was good, after it's all said and done, and you're trying to figure out where the money went, it went from looking good and feeling good to abuse. You got raped. You was violated. Except nobody pinned you down and took your shit. You did it to yourself. Why would you want to rape yourself? I'm sorry. We can't say that word. Grape. Why would you want to do that shit to yourself? It beats me. I don't know. Then there's the sunk cost. The I'm already too deep. We hear this a lot when guys come up, man, Mark, I'm already in too deep, man. What I'm going to do? You looking for me to make the decision for you. I can't really make the decision for you. This is very, very dangerous. You bought a truck. You got the insurance. You went to Instagram and TikTok and you did your infamous, y'all love this, the infamous TikTok picture. When you get your little box truck, you get your little box truck. You did what I'm saying? Or you love posting the picture. The infamous picture. Rental truck, finance truck, it don't matter. You gotta climb up the front of the hood of the truck, up the windshield. You gotta sit on the top, front and center. Hold on, I gotta put you on the big screen so you could really get it. Then you put the little red alarm thing. New business owner alert. Hashtag generational wealth. Hashtag new business owner. Hashtag box truck business owner. Hashtag black owned business. Hashtag for the kids. All this shit. That shit look good. You go to the family little event, you gonna pull up on the family 2 weeks at the Christmas. You gonna tell them you a new entrepreneur. It's all good. Then you do the emotional lock-in. You get locked in emotionally instead of logically. Then as you start to progress in this industry, month 1, if you last a month, month 2, if you last 2 months, month 3, all the while, shit just ain't making sense. It's not making sense because you're not operating from logic. You operating from emotion. The logical thing to do would be do the math and face the issue head on. Figure out why you're working, but it seems like a lot of take and no give. You still refuse to do the math because the math is going to lead you to discover you shouldn't be doing this shit in the first place. Humans hate admitting that they're wrong. They hate to admit that shit. That's why I applaud the people that do come back that tell me, yo, I didn't like you at first. Because the shit that you was saying, I didn't want to hear it, and it was different than what most of the other creators were saying. You did tell me, came up and you told me that it wasn't going to work. I didn't listen. But you were right. So I commend those people that come back. But then there's a lot of other people that don't. I know this shit is not going to work because I do the math. People don't want to face the fact. They don't want to admit when they're wrong. They don't want to admit that they moved too fast. They don't want to admit that they did not have enough working capital. Earlier this year, there's a guy literally wanted to go back and forth with me with some ignorant shit. Man, Mark, you know we from the struggle. We don't got working capital. That's the most ignorant fucking shit. I said, bro, that's fucking ignorant. Just because you from the struggle, this business doesn't give a fuck. Well, you know what? Folding them from the struggle. Man from the struggle. So we just gonna magically make things fucking better for man because unlike little Eric fucking Kaminsky or Mr. John Weinstein, who has more entitlement and more affluence and comes from a family of wealth. Jamarius Jackson doesn't. So we have to be magically more forgiving to fucking Jaquarius fucking Jenkins because he come from the struggle. So we gonna make sure that magically he gets the best rates, the lowest insurance. We have to magically, do his CPM for him and just make sure he wins because he ain't gonna do the shit himself because he come from the struggle, so he don't know no better. So we have to be forgiving to fucking Jaquarius fucking Smith in comparison to fucking what's a white name? A Lily White name. Fucking give me a Lily White name out of fucking Mike Kaminsky, fucking Vilanowski or whatever. I don't know. Shit don't work out like that. So just because you come from the fucking struggle, like the fucking industry is going to be forgiven to you just magically? Fuck, nigga. I don't give a fuck, nigga. I come from the same struggle, and I can tell you this shit is real. Bills are fucking real. If you fucking live above your means, you're gonna be fucked up out here in these streets. The fuck is you talking about? Mark, we come from the struggle. So, man, you keep talking about this working capital shit, man. We ain't got that. We just got to do it. We just got to take the chance, man. And, man, I'm starting with 3,700. I said, bro, you going to fail. Nigga, I didn't hold back on that motherfucker. Nigga, you going to fail. Fuck you talking about, nigga. Told that nigga he was going to fail. That nigga wrote this long-ass emotional shit in my comments. Bro, I don't give a fuck, nigga, about this long emotional shit that you writing in my comment section about the struggle, nigga. Nigga, you gonna fail. You ain't got no money. Fuck is you talking about? Like I'm supposed to fucking kumbaya with your ass because you ignorant. Nigga, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Your favorite content creators on TikTok and Instagram gonna sell you that dream. Why? Because there's something attached to that dream, of course, nigga. Nigga, if they tell you the truth, goofball, you ain't gonna buy into what they really making the bread off of. Sucker. Goofball Jamal. Middle American. Fucking middle American, bro. Goofy nigga in my comment with this long ass emotional shit. Nigga, I'm laughing at you, folks. I'm laughing at that goofball ass shit that you writing. Like I'm finna go back and forth with your goofy ass because you don't want to fucking be patient, save up some more money, and give yourself a fighting chance. Nigga, you ain't, this is for you. You want to give yourself a fighting chance. I'm not finna go to war with fucking one clip. Goofy. You want to go to war with one clip? You gonna go initiate a war with one clip? Think about it. Let's think about it. Let's take it to the street. You gonna go start a war with one clip and no cash. What wins wars? Money. Money wins wars. When you start a business, you go into war. Goofy ass shit. You don't want to admit that they sold your goofy ass a dream. Sold your goofy ass. On the real. Sold your dumb ass a dream. Man, bro, I wish I could go back to 2020, 2021. I wish I had a crystal ball and I could just pop it up on the screen and we can go just back to 2021. And then just do a time lapse from then to now and just see how the sentiment has just changed. But guess what? You still got some people that was grifting then, that's still grifting now. The only thing that changed is the price point on the grift. It went from $20,000 to a subscription-based model because they understand that the capital is not there and they still want to get it off you. It went from $1,000 to less than $100. See, if you tell the truth, you're not going to be able to sell anything. Because that's going to deter a large amount of people away. And if you deter people away, then ultimately your goal, you're not going to be able to accomplish your goal off a product, off evergreen products. See, I understand that because I have common sense. I think logically. It's just like a salesperson. You're not going to walk into a dealership and they're going to talk down. You're not going to walk into Chevy and they're going to talk down on a Malibu and tell you to go to Ford. They're not going to talk down on the Chevy Trailblazer and say, oh, the Ford Explorer is better. The Ford Explorer could be, or let's say the Silverado, and tell you the Ford F-150 is better. And the Ford F-150 for like the last fucking 20 years has been the #1 fucking JD Power and Associate Vehicle of the Year. Last I checked, for like fucking 18 years straight. The F-150. So for almost 2 decades, the F-150 has been #1. The Chevy dealer is still going to talk the Silverado up over the F-150. Because if they pointed you direction into the JD Power Associates and they did a comparison analysis between the Silverado and the F-150, there's a high likelihood that a lot of people that came in there to buy a Silverado is going to walk out the door and go buy an F-150. And then we're not going to sell any fucking Silverados. It's your job, if you want to buy a pickup truck and you want it to be an American truck, to do a comparison analysis before you go in, because you understand the salesperson is going to sell you. Do your own comparison analysis, especially in 2025 where you got fucking AI, websites, everything that you can do, and compare Silverado, F-150, Dodge Ram. Do your own comparison analysis. Do your own process of elimination to narrow down your decision to ultimately what you want to get. And then you walk into the store and you let them sell you, but you have knowledge yourself. So you already know what selling points they're trying to sell you on legitimately versus illegitimately. This is what a logical person would do. An illogical person goes to fucking TikTok, Instagram, and they listen to some fucking stranger that they never fucking met. Sell them on an idea of something that they haven't done any research on. Because you like this person. The only time you should take what a person says at face value is if they have deemed themselves credible. And it takes a while for me as an individual to accept a person is credible or not. They have to have a history of proving themselves right. And you can't deem a person credible on a first interaction. You find a video, you see a fucking reel, and you get excited because you see $10,000 this week. And it's like any other Ponzi fucking scheme. The goofballs fall for it. Fucking middle American motherfucker. Fucking Raleigh, North Carolina type motherfucker or some shit. Don't get offended. Some fucking Charleston, South Carolina ass motherfucker. Real middle American type shit. Oh, motherfucker from middle America somewhere. And they, oh, Mark, you from Chicago. It's in the middle. Nah, nigga. Middle American means small town. It don't matter geographically if it's in the middle of America. You small town, country bumpkin, don't know a lick. If the lick you don't know shit. You just get taken advantage of every which way. For real, bro. I don't never want, listen, me personally, I'd rather hear the pitfalls. Because that's what's going to cost me money. I want to know how to navigate and or avoid this shit that's gonna be costly. Good is good. If shit is going good, nigga, that's great. Man, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why the fuck do I want to be consumed with shit that ain't costing me money? Why do I want to hear all the good shit? I live in Chicago. I know that the north side is better than the south side. I know that the north side is better than the west side. Hey, Mark, don't go over there. They at war. That's the shit I want to know. Hey, they said they EBK. Don't go over there. They said they not for none. They don't care. If you ain't from over there, they saying they laying everybody down that they don't recognize. That's the information I want to know. I don't want to know that if I go over there, everybody gonna be sitting outside of Starbucks drinking fucking tea and eating fucking crumpets and shit like that. That's cool. There's no threat posed there. This is what I'm saying. I be knowing you motherfuckers be middle Americans. Tell me what, man, they shooting everything coming through that bitch. If you got tinted windows, you could be going to visit somebody that could be on the path, go around. I want to know that shit. Because I want to know the shit to avoid. I want to know how to navigate through and around the bullshit. Only a goofy motherfucker only want to know the upside. You think you're going to come into a business and it's going to be 100% upside? Middle American? I told you I was going to probably derail. I gave you fair warning at the beginning because this shit is fucking goofy to me. There's no way I can get through a live stream like this and not derail and fucking crash out. There's no fucking way because to me it's goofy. I don't understand why anybody would invest their money, sacrifice their money, put all their money into something and not do what's in their best interest to make sure they get their fucking money back and then get a return on their fucking investment. This shit is the goofiest shit by far to me. The shit that I see, bro. It's fucking goofy. I'm the only motherfucker that runs around here and tell you how goofy you are when you do this goofy shit. There's no way I can do a live stream like this without fucking crashing out, bro. I be trying, bro, but it's fucking goofy. I just don't get it. $75 people, 30 likes. Hit the like button. Likes need to be 50%. Like needs to be 50%. Goofy ass shit. Likes need to be 50%, bro. Let's get to 40 likes, and then I'll continue on. Let the people leave who don't want to hit the like button. They just left. Let them leave. Fuck them. Fuck them. You say you get out here and you get shit getting to get real for you. You still don't want to go do what's in your best interest. You say some goofy shit like I'll figure it out later, or like Buddy the other day. And Buddy a nice guy. He from the crib. See, listen. I J down on people from the crib. I don't give a fuck that you from the crib. If you do some goofy shit, nigga, it's goofy. We didn't have time. Ain't no motherfucking such thing as you don't got time to make sure that the fucking math is mathing. I just need more loads. If you already operating at a loss, the more shit you run, the deeper in debt you're gonna get. If you haven't figured out a way to be profitable, once I get consistent loads, I'll be good. Same situation. The loads can be consistent as possible, but if you're doing them consistently at a loss, the math is not mathing. It's not a strategy. It's not logical. It's emotion. Emotional debt. It's emotional debt. Going back to I'm gonna keep it a buck. I told you I was gonna crash out. I knew it. We gonna keep it a buck. We gonna use certain words. Nigga shit. This triggered some people 2 weeks ago when I was saying it. It was like, man, you talk. Shut up, man. I don't want to hear that goofy shit. That hustle shit, bro. This ain't the street, bro. This ain't the street. This is business. That hustle shit don't work in business. Business, there's no hustle algorithm in business. It's numbers. Real hard numbers. See, in the street, you can finesse some shit. In business, if you try to finesse some shit, the only person that you finessing in business is yourself, because it's your business. When you try to finesse, you are the person that you're finessing. Eventually, that shit is going to fuck you, or it's fucking you currently, and you just don't realize the shit yet. Grinding in business and grinding on the street is two different grinds. Hustling in the street for long hours and hustling in this business is two different types of hustles for long hours. Trapping all day, trapping all night, not sleeping because you trapping is different in that aspect than over here. Those terminologies don't apply over here. Those terminologies need to translate to terms like spreadsheets, boring math, patience, restraint, sacrifice, resilience. Because over here, there's a cost that's associated with everything you do. And math will expose that hard work does not necessarily equal profit. That's why so many people be frustrated. They can't figure this shit out. Why? I've been working. I've been running the clock. I've been running the miles. And I don't understand. You can drive as many hours as you want. You can touch as much freight as you want. You can sleep in the truck and save money on hotels and miss birthdays and miss bar mitzvahs and all that shit don't matter. And when you say this shit to people, notice when I say this shit to like that certain group of individuals, like the guy who earlier this year I was going back and forth with, who, you know, man, we come from the struggle, man, we ain't got working capital. It becomes, when you say this type of shit that I'm saying, it's offensive to them because they mindset, they haven't transitioned from a hustle mindset to a business mindset. So this terminology, it doesn't translate. See, it's easy for me to talk because I come from that type of environment. So I can talk from both. So I know how to trigger that type of individual and piss them off. And then they get upset with me because they feel like, man, Mark, you out of everybody, you the one who should understand. I do understand. But at the end of the day, once you cross that line and you come over into business, none of that shit mean shit no more. You could be the fucking trap king from your block, but when you come over here, that language don't translate, little nigga. Why you think all the other ethnicities that don't come from our community don't have the same issues when they come into business outside of the working capital? Because they don't come from those communities with that mindset already in place. See, when you got a certain type of mindset, you think that's gonna get you by everywhere, and it don't. See, they don't have that mindset. So when they come in, they don't have to turn that off. They automatically come in. I'm speaking of all other ethnicities but us. They automatically go in understanding the right mindset that they need to have in order to be able to succeed. So they don't got to turn off that switch and then flip on a new switch or figure out a different way of thinking. You have to unlearn that culture and that mentality when you come over in business, because it doesn't translate. If the numbers don't work, the hustle is irrelevant. That shit don't mean nothing if the numbers, I don't give a fuck how long and how hard, how many loads or how many shit you do. If the numbers don't add up, then the shit is not going to work. Cost per mile. It's like a restriction to people. That's how they feel. When they hear, your cost per mile, when they calculate it, it makes them feel restricted, because a lot of guys did what was in their best interest. They didn't do the research. They came in with a high cost of entry. So when they finally sit their ass down and do their costs, if they sit their ass down and do their costs, because a lot of people don't even realize what their cost is, and that they may have a high operating cost, so that they pull in loads at a loss, but they don't realize it. But even the guys that sit down and do it, and they realize that their cost per mile is high, now there's a restriction on them, and they don't like it. It feels like it's a restriction. It shouldn't feel like that. So then they begin to hear this little thing on the side of their shoulder saying, when they're scrolling, that you can't take that load. And they don't like that. They don't hear the protection of understanding your cost. They hear confinement. What they quit their job for, the idea that they were sold, freedom, don't feel free no more. The freedom to pick and choose. The freedom to say yes. The freedom to stay busy. Now they have to filter certain things. See, they weren't doing that before. They were just running off the lamb based on what somebody told them. Man, as long as you take, how many times have we heard, you don't hear it no more, but when I first started creating content, remember, for the people that's been around for a long time, remember that was a term a couple of years ago. And this was the most ignorant shit that I ever heard, because I was hearing content creators say it, and then I started to expose them. And then they stopped saying it because they were ignorant. As long as you take $2 a mile, you will be straight. Remember people were saying that a few years ago? As long as you take $2 a mile, you will be straight. And then once I started making my content, I said, all right, man, I'm finna start jaying down on these niggas. Because that's some ignorant shit to say. Why, as a content creator, would you tell a motherfucker, as long as they take $2 a mile, they'll be straight? Process that shit. Remember some of your favorite content creators? We ain't gonna say no names. We ain't gonna say no names. I ain't on no bullshit. I'm keeping it, I'm trying to be peaceful. But I mean, we got to be honest here. Remember, some of your favorite content creators was saying shit, and then I seen some of y'all that was around back then in the chat like, yeah, you're right. Some of your favorite content creators was saying, yo, as long as you take $2 a mile, you should be straight. Now, let's process this. A content creator saying you should, as long as you take $2 a mile, you should be straight. Now, mind you, it's 100 people in the chat. You don't know what these people's costs are. Each person that's in that chat has an individual cost per mile. What if the person that's 50% of the people that's consuming what you're saying, cost per mile is over $2? But you just told them that as long as you take $2 a mile, you should be straight. What if the other 25% of those people's cost per mile was between $1.95 and $1.99? So now 75% of those people are taking what you're saying, this ignorant ass fucking shit, and running off of it like it's law. Remember that golden unwritten rule? Who remembers that? Now it's quiet in the chat. Y'all know because some of y'all fell for the okie doke until you found Big Mark when Big Mark started putting my foot down on these things. A lot of your favorite content creators, don't make me go back and pull that content up and start exposing these niggas. They was saying, as long as you take $2 a mile, you will be straight. Y'all don't remember that? Why y'all so quiet? Because some of y'all still operating like with that mindset. That's why. Where did this golden rule come from? That's the most ignorant shit I've ever heard in my life. And that's why people stop saying it, because I expose the ignorance of the term. How is $2 a mile this fucking magical, golden, unwritten rule number? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. So I'm straight at taking $2 a mile if my cost is $1.96. That means because you said it and this is unwritten rule, I'll be fine at $2 a mile, even though my cost is $1.96. I'll be fine. And then I started jaying down on these content creators. I remember I'm looking in the space because I'm trying to put my little content out. You know, I'm just getting started and shit. And I'm seeing this shit and I'm like, bro, that shit don't even make sense. And these people in the chat just eating that shit up. They putting fucking goofy ass emojis in the chat. These the emojis they was putting when these goofy motherfuckers was sending their dumb ass off. Hold on. Where are these goddamn emojis at? This the emojis they was putting in the chat. Motherfuckers say some goofy shit like, man, all you need to do is just make sure you take two. As long as you take something that's $2 a mile, you'll be good. Then they'll put that. All the dumb goofy motherfuckers start putting that in the chat. Gems. And I'm like, how the hell is that gems? How is that a gem? I'm looking at motherfuckers, the gems just going, I'm like, what the fuck? These are some stupid motherfuckers. This stupid motherfucker that's hosting the live stream is dumb than a motherfucker. And all these motherfuckers in the chat, goofy than a motherfucker too. I'm like, this is a dumb space. I'm tweaking. I'm looking at this shit like, man, this space is stupid. Y'all, a lot of y'all been following me for years, so y'all remember this shit, bro. I'm tweaking on this shit. Like, look at these goofy motherfuckers. Remember the one? Let's go back down memory lane. Remember the goofy motherfucker that said, "Listen, I'm not trying to start no shit," but he said this shit. He said, "Motherfucker got stumped with that question at one time." Motherfucker said, "Hey, what should my profit margin be?" Motherfucker died down like, oh, that motherfucker in his head like, damn, I meant to skip over that one. Fuck. That motherfucker got to squinting and shit. Oh, what should your profit margin be? And then it was taking them too long to come up with the answer. So people in the chat just started volunteering the answer. You know, they stupid because they dropping gems on dumb shit. Talking about, yeah, $2 a mile, you should be good. So one goofy motherfucker said, yeah, 70%. This motherfucker saw a motherfucker put 70% in the chat and said, yeah, as long as you making 70% profit, you should be good. If you ain't profiting at least 70 to 80%, you're doing something wrong. So I'm watching this shit. I'm watching, I'm lurking. I'm on the new. I ain't even got 1,000 subscribers yet. I'm on the new. When that motherfucker said that shit and then put emphasis on it, you saw, first of all, these motherfuckers watching you for the knowledge. So they ain't got no knowledge. So this stupid motherfucker that put 70%, I understand why he put 70%. He's ignorant. He's on the new. And then you don't know the answer. So you looking for a bailout. This motherfucker put 70 and then you, yeah, 70%. How? How the fuck in trucking are you making 70% profit margin? Listen, that's one of them classic ones that I'll never forget, and I'm always gonna poke fun at it. I have to poke fun at it. So that's when I realized that Buddy didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. And guess what? As soon as the motherfucker said 70%, you know what we saw in the chat? Hold on, I'm gonna show you what we saw in the chat. I will show you what we saw in the chat. Give me a second. Give me a second. This is what we saw in the chat. This is what we saw in the chat. Here come all the people in the chat coming, 70%. This is what we saw. Gems. So I'm like, God damn. What type of fuel y'all putting in these goddamn box trucks that at the end of the year, you took home 70%? What type of fuel? Is y'all filling these goddamn trucks up with water? Because about 20 to 30% of your cost is fuel. If you working, 20 to 30% of your cost is gonna be fuel. So what the fuck are y'all doing that everybody else that's smart ain't doing? How the fuck are y'all making, let's make the math easy, 100,000 in a box truck and you walking home, you taking home 70,000 of it? Where did you filling your truck up with water? Are you exempt from paying insurance? You paying no insurance? You filling up with water, corn oil, or some shit like that? Jesus Christ, bro. Oh, Lord have mercy, man. Oh, Lord have mercy. I remember, I'm just reminiscing on that. Cause that shit was crazy when I seen that shit. I've been out in these content streets for about 3.5 years now, man. I made it real tough for some niggas, man. Hold on, we got a super chat. Oh,
Sweet.
he said, Mark, you came to his chat and gave him a chance to redeem himself, but he refused to admit that 70% was wrong. So see, Edie been somebody who been around for a while. I did. I gave him a chance to redeem himself. He held on to it. And then I did that live stream where I pulled it up. He said, I didn't say that. So I had to do the live stream. I used his content on his page, went to the video and showed it. That was 2.5, 3 years ago. So we don't want to bring up old shit. But and it's not to pick on Buddy, but I'm just using this as a segue, or not even as a segue. It's just historical data. To prove my point. I'm using it as a case study. I'm using the historical data to prove to you that I'm not just saying this shit for theatrics and satire. I'm using real case studies in this space without saying names. The people that have been watching for a while, like Edie, they remember these times. And I'm pointing out the ignorance of the lack of experience of your favorite content creators, plus the lack of experience, obviously, of the viewer, which is the consumer. But I'm really pointing out, as far as the viewer and the consumer perspective, the lack of due diligence on their part to just take a person's word for something automatically. Because when you put gems up for ignorant shit like that, it just shows why you failed. What in what business you're getting those types of margins, profit margins? 70%? I digress, bro. I digress. Appreciate that super chat, though. Let me make sure I ain't got no other super chats. Appreciate that super chat. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. When you take the time to do your CPM consistently, it removes freedom and replaces freedom with discipline. Most people aren't disciplined. That's why they don't do their CPM. They don't do their CPM because they're not disciplined and they refuse to face the truth. Discipline is uncomfortable. It's not convenient. It's not convenient and it's not comfortable for people who enter into this industry thinking it was an escape from structure. And that's why we hear so many people say, man, they want to get away from the rat race. They want to get away from the plantation, like the lady that called in last week said. They want to get away from structure. If that's your reasoning for coming into trucking, that's why I can proactively say you're going to fail. Because if you're running from structure because you failed at being in a controlled environment where you've been delegated a scope of work and you can't do that successfully, how can you successfully create the structure? Did that go over your head? If you can't follow directions and be successful in a controlled environment where structure is already in place for you and a scope of work is delegated to you, and you can't successfully be good at that, how can you transition over to something that's hasn't even evolved, that you have to build and create the structure? How can you create structure when you fail at it, when you're in a controlled environment and the structure is already there for you? You can't. Now, some people may argue it, but then show me a case study where it's worked. The right thing a person would say in that particular situation is, I am here at a corporation and I think I can duplicate this, but do it better. I think I can emulate and take some of the systems that are in place here, input them, but make it better. See, when you come into a guy like me with a defeated mindset, because when you say, yo, you're on the corporate plantation and it's, you're just, I just want to work for myself. To me, that's, you defeated. Every time you hear me talk, what do I tell you about when I was working in corporate America? I talk about what I learned when I worked in corporate America, when I worked at these department stores, when I worked at this big box retailer. Yeah, I talked about what I learned and I was able to implement. I was able to implement human resources. I was able to implement what I learned from an operational perspective. I was able to implement certain terminology. I talked about when I worked at the Gap when I was in college. Something that I always kept hearing the upper management say, yo, we have to meet the needs of the business. That was something that they kept saying. You heard me talk about. I took that and I implemented that into my business. I would tell my employees, listen, I need you here this day. It's the end of the month. I need you to work these 7 days straight. I need you to meet the needs of the business. This is our peak time. A real entrepreneur and a real boss never talks from a defeated mindset. You talk about what you learned and how you're going to implement it over into what you're going to build and or make it better. How can you be a successful boss and get people to follow you when you failed as a fucking employee? You're a failure. Well, Mark, that ain't always true. Prove it. I have yet to see, prove it. Most people that come from the work environment excelled. Just because they left a job and went over to business don't mean that they had a defeated mindset or they failed. Most people that build businesses were successful employees. They just saw things that they can take and make it better. I was a successful employee. I started in the stock room, worked my way up to manager. Why? Because I don't limit myself to the bottom. What do I have to do to work my way up? Why? What comes with promotion? More money. I'm in it for the money. So do I need to work harder? Open my availability up more? These are all things that are conducive of a successful employee. I'm gonna open my availability up more. I'm going to meet the call when the call is made. When management around or when management is not around, I'm going to always make sure that I show a sense of urgency. You're going to always see a sense of urgency with Mark when the manager's around or when the managers ain't around, because the camera, the eye in the sky is always watching. Yo, Mark, that new stock guy, man, he has a sense of urgency. He's not walking real slow. He's walking with a sense of urgency. He's responding to the stock calls. He's going to the shoot. There's a sense of urgency with him. All this shit translates over 12, 13 years when I started my business. Yo, I don't like the way you're moving on this job. Once you bring something to the truck, I need you to see when you're coming back to the truck empty-handed after you bring this item to the truck, I need to see a sense of urgency from the truck back to the apartment. I don't want you slow dragging. This is not the time to take out the phone and check your text messages. I need to see a sense of urgency. I want to see it because the customer is watching. We're charging this person $100 an hour. I don't need a fucking review that, these guys were lazy, they were slow dragging and things of that nature. I always want to see a sense of urgency. See, I would have never learned that if I wouldn't have been a successful employee and paid attention. If I was just an employee who was just there to get a check and didn't want to grow, didn't want to evolve, didn't want to make any more money, I wouldn't have gave a fuck about all the little things that were going on around me, and I wouldn't have consumed it. I'm a sponge. I'm consuming everything because I never know. I might need to utilize this later on in life, and I did. God works in mysterious ways. God puts you in situations because he may have a plan for you later on in life, and this is training for that, and you don't even know it. The fuck you gonna be a boss and get people to follow you when you was a sucky employee? This is why when you come into business, you fail. This is why you can't get people to do what you need them to do. Because you don't know what to do. And then they realize that. And then they be like, well, fuck, this motherfucker, he ain't no good lead. He don't know what the fuck to do. This motherfucker asking us what should he do. I learned so much when I worked at the Gap and when I worked at Target And I'm thankful that I consumed it and I paid attention because I had to utilize this stuff. I got more business training from in-field experience from retail than I can even remember when I was in school for business. Now, if I would have never worked those 2 jobs over the course of 8 years, I don't know how I would have ended up when I came into business, or even if I would have gotten into business. I was a good employee. I was a successful employee. I moved up. Moving up and getting promotions is a sign of success. Getting raises more than what the base is. I'm making $1.50 at this time. This is the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm getting $1.50, $2 jumps. I remember one time I threatened to leave the Gap to go over to the Guess store. The Guess was right across the street on Michigan and Ohio. It's not there anymore, but they were opening up. I used my leverage. I know I was an asset at the Gap. It had to be like 2,000. I said, well, they a new store, they hiring new employees. I'm comfortable at the Gap, but I know my value. I know they're not gonna let me leave. You know what my black ass did? I went right across the street, right? Because they were hiring new employees before they opened. This was during the build out. I applied, stock manager. I'm right across the street. I use that as leverage. I'm a stock manager across the street, a stock supervisor at that time. They didn't win it for the interview. Obviously, during the interview, I said, I'm across the street. I'm a stock supervisor across the street. They opening up. They got to staff a whole store. Sure enough, they gave me the job. They asked me what I was making across the street. I told them what I was making. They gave me more money. I accepted. I went back over to the Gap. I put in my 2-week notification. Katie, who was my direct manager, adored me. She loved me because she was the person who promoted me. She was the person who had given me those raises over the course of 2 years, and I knew she adored me. She spoke highly of me. I knew she wasn't going to let me leave. I used that to my advantage. She didn't just, when I gave the 2 weeks, she made me sweat a little bit. She came like the week of my 2 weeks expiring, like maybe 3 days before, because I was like, damn, bro, they really going to let me go? She played it like a G. She played it like a G. That's why she was one of them ones. And she brought me into the office. She said, Mark, you know I ain't finna let you leave. What they offer you? I told her. She said, would you stay if I match you, or do I got to give you a little more? I said, man, go ahead and put the cherry on top. She put the cherry on top. I called him and said, look, man, I'm staring at that. Yeah, pimp. I use my leverage. I know how to play the game. You know how I knew how to play that? Because I seen other people. I had been there 2 years at this point. I seen other people do it. I seen other people threaten to go to other stores, and they would go. Certain people they would let go. Certain people they would match what the other store from the other company, whether it be Abercrombie and Fitch at that time, J. Crew, Macy's, Marshall Fields, Virgin Records, Tower Records, whatever it was, Levi. I seen certain people go and they let go, and certain people, they matched to them to stay. I knew my value. I knew I was one of them ones. I'm getting awesome reviews. I bumped up from stock associate, stock supervisor, and I've been getting raises. I knew it was going to work in my favor. I learned it from being a sponge and paying attention. It was an opportunity that presented itself for me to go make more money. I learned business hands-on while being paid. And I'm 19, 20 at the time. I'm in training to learn how to handle a situation like that when it's being presented to me. Henry did the same thing to me that I did to Katie. And you know what I did? I paid him because he was valuable to me. I didn't let my emotions play on the fact that I knew what he was doing. Why? Because I did it. 2000, what year is it? 16. I did it 16 years prior. I just didn't make him sweat. I just gave it to him. And it was a $3 jump. Now, if I wouldn't have been a sponge at that time and consumed that and then utilize it to my advantage, I probably would have thought like, this motherfucker trying to squeeze me. That's an emotional way to think about it. I thought about it logically. Smart play. Smart play, Henry. I didn't get in my feelings. And you know what? He respected the fact that I respected him and his work ethic. The same way I respected her. This is why another reason a lot of guys don't do the math and don't make the right decisions, because mentally, they're still in the mindset of an employee. Mentally, they've been a failed employee. You in the mindset of an employee and you've been a failed employee. You think hourly, you think daily, you think check to check. Business owners, we think quarterly, annually. We deal with economics, per unit economics. We deal with microeconomics. We deal with macroeconomics. And this is probably going over some people's heads. And they thinking this shit don't matter. And those people that think what I'm saying right now is going over their heads, and you are not the individual that's going to take this and rewind it and Google some of these words and try to learn this and apply it, you're probably failing. And you're going to continue to fail. CPM is a business owner matrix as it pertains to trucking. So that's why when these guys come up here and they say they don't do it, they haven't did it what they needed for, they ain't had the time, what do you hear me say? Oh, well, I don't respect you. You ain't no business owner. I don't respect you. You just hustling. You hear me say it all the time. I'm not going to sit up here and kumbaya with your punk ass. I'm going to call it what it is. This is what you calling me for. You want me to tell you the truth, or you want me to be nice to you? I ain't got nothing to give you, to sell you, so I don't have no reason to really kiss your ass. Only thing I can tell you is the truth, and you can like it or don't like it. I'm going to sleep good at night either way because I got thread counts. My heat work. Nigga, I ain't trying to be your friend. I got enough friends, and I still got fingers left because I don't classify everybody a friend. I'm from the crib. I know everybody. I lost a lot of friends along the way, both to the gun violence, the streets, age, and just because we grew apart. At my age, I don't need no new friends. I don't want to kick it with you. I'm just going to tell you the truth. If you ever asked at any point in trucking, I'm just keeping it a buck with you, how much does something pay? you fucking up. You probably struggling. The real question you should be asking yourself is how much it costs to run. If you are the type of individual that's always trying to figure, let me see how much this pay, instead of asking yourself, how much does it cost to run? You are the type of individual that I'm talking about. That gap alone explains most failures. That mindset between those two individuals explains most failures. The math and the CPM, it makes you accountable. Accountability, it hurts, it's painful, and that's why a lot of people don't like it. It takes a lot for people to click that link. I get it. They really want to. Like the guy who called up a month ago and said, man, I've been watching you for a year and a half in my market. Struggling in my market, letting goofy people take advantage of them. I'm like, how you in the crib and you've been watching me a year and a half and you ain't called up? Man, because you know I'm gonna J down on you. And now you just to the point where you ain't got no choice. You have to you wait to the last minute. Because that, you're gonna hear something, that truth, and you don't want to hear it. It's gonna hurt you. If you my homie, and I know your chick a thought, she busting it down for all the homies on the next block, and you don't know because you at work all day. Am I still a friend to you if I don't tell you the truth? Because I know it's gonna hurt your feelings. If I know you got a chick and you doing everything for the chick, you working all day, you taking care of the chick, but I know when you at work, she busting it down with the ops. She busting it open for a real one with all the ops. Spread like an eagle for all the ops. I know it's gonna hurt you. Am I a friend if I don't tell you? Or am I a friend if I tell you the truth even though I know it's gonna hurt you? How does the friend consume the information? Does he hold himself accountable? Does he want to hear it? When he hears it, does he deny it? Or does he accept the reality, appreciate it, and do better? Some people don't want to face issues head on. I don't know why. The sooner you face the issue head on, the sooner you can correct the behavior and alleviate the damage and the cost that's associated with being ignorant. That situation, get that bitch out of here. Excuse my language. In a trucking situation, the accountability is going to alleviate, or it's going to get rid of the stress and the strain that you've been under because you haven't faced the situation head on. And now we can change the course of action to something that's more beneficial and a road to profitability. The longer you run from accountability, the closer you are to failure. You're already failing, but the closer you are to exiting due to failure. Math removes the excuses. Once you know your CPM, you stop saying stupid shit. Let me tell you some of the stupid shit truckers say. You blame brokers. I don't understand why you blame another man for your plight. You blame brokers, you blame apps, you blame fuel prices. You say stupid shit like they keep taking cheap freight. You say a bunch of dumb shit. It's dumb. I've always said it was dumb, so I'm not saying nothing different today because I've been saying this shit since day one. And nobody has proven me wrong. See, when you understand math, the math that's associated with your business, you don't indulge in dumb conversations that lead you to say stupid shit like this, like they keep taking cheap freight, these brokers, the apps, the fuel prices. You know what your cost is, and then you run based off of your numbers. You're not consumed. You're not worried about what other people are doing. You know that it cost me this. So this is what I need to make. I need to be looking at shit this above this. See, people that don't know this number, they take a lot of this because they don't know this, and then they don't realize where their money is not going that way, it's steady going that way. So then they say stupid shit. They place the blame. Instead of placing the blame, they need to get to the root of the problem, which is the math, but they just rather start fucking going to the internet and saying dumb shit like they keep taking cheap freight and the brokers are thieves and this, that, and the third. And then they call up here and they get mad. I trigger them. I purposely trigger you. I do it purposely because I know I'm going to win, because I know you're not going to be able to articulate yourself. You're not going to be able to substantiate how somebody who doesn't know you is robbing you blind. You're not going to be able to substantiate what cheap freight means. You're not going to be able to substantiate how all these uncontrollable situations, how you're allowing these things to affect your business owner. I know you're not going to be able to substantiate that. So I do things and I say things to trigger you, to bait you, so that you can call or hit the link or call up so I can desecrate you, and then I'll clip you. Then I clip you a month or two later, and then I make you look worse, and then you feel stupid. Because I know it doesn't make sense. Nobody can. My success or failure is based on my choices and decisions, not anybody else's. So anytime I hear any motherfucker complaining about their failure and they're blaming other people or they're blaming things that are beyond your control, you can't blame fuel for your failure. How can you blame a broker for your failure because you took something that you knew or you should have known wasn't beneficial for you? How can you blame rates when you invested into something that's a marketplace in the United States of America in a capitalistic society? That's free market and free enterprise. That's based on supply and demand. How can you get mad at something like that? How can you get mad that another person did something that wasn't in their best interest, and then you say some dumb shit like they keep taking cheap freight? Like that shit doesn't even exist. Motherfucker can do what they want to do. And the longer you keep saying this dumb shit, the quicker you are to being exited out due to your own ignorance. I don't worry about what other people do. If a motherfucker want to go jump off the goddamn bridge, jump, motherfucker. What the fuck that got to do with me and my business? Uncontrollables. I can't help that the fucking mayor is going up on property taxes, even though he said he wasn't, and a big part of that is due to, you know, the migrants and shit and the $1 million+ a day being spent. It sucks, but I can't control it. I gotta pay it. I'm not complaining about it. It's just what it is. I have no control. So I don't worry about things I don't control. I understand that things are going to continue to rise over a course of time because I'm old enough. I've seen this happen. So being, wise and just living, okay, we have to continuously make smart investments. We have to make the proper choices so that we can continue to utilize our capital as a vehicle to make more and more and more money and continue to outpace the rate of inflation. See, the way I look at things is different. See, my goal is to continue to outpace the rate of inflation. I don't look at shit from a stupid perspective. I don't complain because I understand this shit is going to continue to go that way. So instead of me complaining about shit that I can't control, I'm going to focus my time and energy on continuously making more money to outpace the rate of inflation. Period. I'm going to let you people who want to, worry about other people and what other people are doing and complaining about things that are beyond your control or invest into things and don't do what's in your best interest to make sure that you get your money back and get a return on your investment, and listen to stupid motherfuckers that's selling you a dream and distract you from what's really going on out here in the world. I'm going to keep my eye on shit that matters. I'm gonna focus my time and energy on outpacing the rate of inflation. I'm going to make wise decisions because I know this shit ain't going to never go back to where it was. Never. Why you keep waiting? I can't wait for rates to go back. Keep waiting. Because as long as the economy keeps getting harder and harder, people are going to get more desperate. So you keep waiting for shit to go that way. While I'm looking at the disparity go higher, the economy go down, the cost of living go up, and you're waiting for some shit to go that way, and people are desperate. You keep waiting. In 45 years, I've never seen shit go back. There's always an event that accelerates things to get worse. The housing economy is never going to be what it was. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity after 2008. We never going to see it again. Corporate America done got involved. Now, baby, BlackRock is buying up homes. It's over with. Bitcoin ain't never going back to $100 or less than $100. You missed that boat. It's over with, pimp. You probably never see another pandemic again in your lifetime. You ran it up in 2020, 2021. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Ain't happening again, pimp. If you missed the boat, you missed the boat. If you got it and you didn't do what was in your best interest with it when you had it, too bad. I remember when fuel was 89 cents a gallon. Never gonna see that shit again. And that wasn't that long ago. I was pumping 89, 99 cents a gallon, 98, 99, 2000. Go look it up. There's historical data on fuel prices, regular unleaded. I remember when diesel was cheaper than regular unleaded. Ain't that about it, bitch? I remember when diesel was cheaper than gasoline. Tell you how old I am. Never going back. I remember when Solana was $20. I made a lot of money on that. I sold it 200 and something. Look at it now, it's 100 and something. I doubt if it ever go back to $20 though. Keep waiting. Keep blaming. Keep worrying about shit that's beyond your control instead of focusing on what really matters. Now let's get into the fear of having to face the reality that you fucked up. And this is one of them ones I told you, but we got to get through this. And this is going to hurt. This is going to take you through the weekend because I ain't going live tomorrow and Sunday. I said I got to do a call-in show before the Christmas. I'm probably going to wait till next week. I may do it Sunday. I may not. I might do it Sunday. I don't know. This is going to take you through the weekend. I need you to resonate. The realization that you may have to stop. Because once the math is done honestly, some people will discover that their truck should have never been on the road in the first place. The current market can't support their cost because of their ignorance. They came in ignorantly with a high initial cost. And because they came in with a high initial cost, their operational cost is high, higher than what the current market is dictating. And if your cost is here and the market, the average current market is dictating prices here, it's going to fail. Because you didn't do the math. Their business model is broken. The debt is suffocating them. And when you continue without doing the math, it's not like a bravery thing. It's stupidity, really. But it's also denial as well. Now let's talk about something that's a little bit more for the people who do the right thing. People always say, man, Mark, why are you so obsessed with the cost per mile? Because successful people are always obsessed with numbers. What do you always hear me say? I'm money hungry. It's all about the money. And the money, the dollar signs equate to numbers. Successful people are obsessed with numbers. How you going to be successful and chase the bag and you not obsessed with numbers? That's why when you don't know your cost per mile, I can confidently say you're going to fail. I've never met one person that was successful that wasn't obsessed with the numbers. The ones who survive, they track every mile. They know their CPM like the back of their hand. They walk away. They can't get sold on something that's bad, that's not in their best interest. They know how to walk away. That individual doesn't necessarily look busy. That individual looks boring. Now, don't let that go over your head. It's like a relationship. The most successful relationships are the boring ones. Boring businesses live long. What does boring look like? Knowing your numbers, being obsessed with your numbers, doing everything the correct way, and repeating it day in and day out repetitively. You know what that sounds like? You know what that looks like when you repeat success repetitively, doing your numbers? Sounds like a system. Sounds like a system. That individual has a system in place. Person that doesn't do their numbers, they don't have a system in place. People who don't do these things, you allow not doing the math to threaten your identity. When you don't do math, it threatens your identity. When you do math, after not doing it so long, and the reason why you're scared to do it is because you don't want the math to expose your bad decisions. And ultimately, what the math does is something that I've realized recently with most people based on these the verbiage that they use, hope and, what if and hope and, what's the word that buddy used yesterday? Wish, and all this shit. When you sit down and you do the math, it kills the fantasy. Because a lot of people that come into this industry that don't do what they're supposed to do are role playing. You're role playing for a short period of time until you fail. You're role playing as a trucker, successful trucker, until you fail. You're a role player. It's like playing a video game. Except you don't get a second chance if you don't come up with money to try again. You fail, it's a wrap. Knowing the math and knowing the cost and knowing your numbers, it's the discipline thing. Most people don't have discipline. If you don't take the time to do your numbers, you have no discipline. I don't respect you as a business owner. I just respect you as a hustler, and that's it. Knowing the numbers and the math forces uncomfortable changes. Because you may have to take a step back. I was talking to somebody in the Discord yesterday, and after listening to what he was saying to me, I told him, you're probably going to have to scale down. Every time I tell somebody they have to scale down because they scaled too prematurely, it's almost like you can just tell when I tell it, there's always that silence. You can hear the sound barrier get so quiet. It's like a dagger. He said, man, but I paid for these trucks cash and I worked so hard and I had to give him the emotional speech. It's business. Everything's for sale. If you got to take a step back to take a step, 2 steps forward, then that's what you got to do. Technically, you shouldn't have 4 trucks anyway right now. But I could tell once I told him that, because I've told people before, yo, you got to scale down. You're not in a position to operate at scale. It's like a dagger. There's one thing in trucking that protects you. One thing. It's not insurance. This is before insurance. Insurance protects you. But overall, on the grand scheme of things, it's one thing that ultimately protects you in trucking. And it even starts before you get the insurance. And that's math. Phones are open. Phones are open. Three 312-772-5483. Phone line is open. The like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to be waiting too long today. I'm going to put this, if nobody call, I'm gone. Where's my counter at? Boom. Phone lines is open. 312-772-5483. 312-772-5483. Once again, appreciate that super chat from earlier. Thank you so much. Mm-mm-mm. 312-772-54. 54, not 4. 54. 5483. 5483. 5483. My mom would kill me. If my mom was watching, she'd be like, it's not 4, it's 4. That's that school teacher shit. It's not 4. You know, she still corrects me at my age. I'd be like, all right, I'm finna go. Finna ain't a word. Like, damn, Mom, I'm grown. Finna ain't a word. I'd be like, all right, Mom. I'm about to leave now. Anything else you need me to do? I took the garbage out. Snow is plowed. Anything else you need? I'm about to leave. I'm finna leave. I'm fenced to leave. All right. 312-772. 5483 is the number. I know I'm pissing people off. They like, God damn, this nigga just, I get it. I get it. Trust me, I do. I get it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, especially if you on some bullshit. Today probably ain't the day. Today ain't the day. Trust me, I'm cool. I'm Gucci. But I'm turned too. I'm turned. So if you a detractor, you probably want to leave me alone today. I like this creation thing. I've learned to like it. This is like I look at it like, it's like a cool little thing, bro. I really enjoy this. I really do. I really enjoy this. I do. Because I'm good at it. Like yesterday we was talking about people always try to get me to go into other spaces. Mark, you could be so much bigger if you go do this and do that. I say the same thing all the time. I don't want to go do it. Yeah, I know I could probably be way bigger. But I like this space. I like this small little niche because I can dominate it. See, when I go somewhere else, I'm gonna have to put in that work because now I gotta go over there. I gotta get in you know how this creation space is. When you become a threat, people gonna come at you. Then I gotta start pulling up on niggas and shit. Same thing that happened when I came into this space. Shout out to D Block. Shout out to D Block. Appreciate that $50.
Sweet.
Appreciate that 50 ball. And man, we done fought a lot of wars over here in this space. We don't want them all. It's just this space. I just like it. I just like this small little niche. It's really, really cool and it's a good community. So our little tuck over in the little content creation is a little tuck. You dig? So appreciate that super chat. You dig? All right, where we at? Ooh, we about almost there. Don't nobody want to talk to Big Mark today? All right. Don't nobody want to talk to Big Mark today. I get it. I feel you. It's Friday. I think this live stream, because I structured my talking points to really strike a nerve, but not like in a bad way and more of a self-reflection way. Like we going into 2026, but the people who going to be able to survive this year, you got to understand January right around the corner is about to get ugly. So if you're able to survive the Q1, then you know Q2, you need to come out swinging. You need to make better choices and decisions. Time is ticking. There's a lot of things as a business owner you're fighting against. I don't want people to think that, this shit is as sweet as your favorite people make it out to be. It's not. And what this may sound pessimistic, it's not pessimistic, it's just reality. It's not going to get any better. For all you new entrants who thinking that this is bad, this is normal. Anybody that tells you anything differently, my number is 312-772-5483. I've always been on the forefront to take any call, any challenge, any debate. Back Then people used to take me up on it, but now I think people are scared. I get it. I don't blame them. This dude is smart, street smart, book smart. He understands economics. He understands the landscape of trucking. He understands the market space. They hear it. It'll be detrimental for their credibility if they lose. So I don't blame them. Because I always had tricks up my sleeve too. I don't never, back in the day when I would do them little debates, it was like I would really go somewhere where just like some of this shit be surface level. I really get to really talking that shit. You can't never let your left hand know what your right hand is thinking, and you can't give them too much because then they'll study you and they'll try to come up with a game plan. I'm gonna call the link. I'm gonna get them today. Then I pull something out. You always gotta have a trick in your back pocket, pimp. It ain't gonna never get it ain't, this is normal. This is what a market looks like. This is what supply and demand looks like. This is what this is how this market looks in this economy. This is normal. You got highs, you got lows. This is what free market looks like. This is what competition looks like. Most people are having a hard time because they don't do the math. That's all. They don't do the math. They worry about shit that you can't control, bro. I don't worry about shit that I can't control at all. You know why? Because there's money out there. If it's something we go get more money. That's it. I can control the money. I can control how much of it I get. I can't control what the cost of fuel is. I can't control the taxes. I can't control what another person does. What I can control is my destiny. What I can control is how I spend my time throughout the day. Am I going to spend my time on something that's beneficial, or I'm going to spend my time on something that's not beneficial? I'm going to spend my time to ensure that we outpace the rate of inflation. I'm going to spend a large amount of my time making sure that we continue to make the right choices and decisions, the right investments, right? So that we can continue to outpace the rate of inflation so we can continue to live comfortably. So we can continue to move about the way we want to move about. All right, I don't see nobody want to come up and talk. I get it. I don't blame you. On that note, my mouse fell. All right, on that note, since nobody want to talk, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here today. Get rid of that. Hope everybody have a good weekend. Until next time, peace.